Welcome back to Ravens Today. I'm your host, Connor Gioffreda. Turning off the TV after that halfway point during the game was probably the best idea for me. But again, thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe to the channel and like the videos. Let me give you my recap of this game. Like I just said, I turned off the game halfway through halfway through. After the interception in the third quarter off our first drive, I was like, yeah, that's it. I'm not watching this travesty anymore. I will always support and love my Ravens. I do not support the coaching staff. Brings up the question, is this the dagger in two different ways? Is this the dagger for our season? Because frankly, unless something magical happens after the bye week, which is in 2 weeks' time, quite possibly could be the dagger for our season. I will always love the Ravens. I will die a Ravens fan. But it's leaning towards the dagger coming down. It's not winding up anymore. It's coming down. The other way that the dagger is this the dagger? Is this the dagger for the coaching staff? Me personally, no. They're not going to get fired or anything like that. There's not going to be any change because internally they're probably going to say, "Oh, these injuries are leading to why you haven't succeeded, brother." If you can't succeed even with injuries, it goes to show how much talent the Ravens have and how much they have carried a bum coaching staff, and there's just no excuses anymore. Look at Kyle Shanahan with the San Francisco 49ers. His team's always crippled every single year, cursed, but he somehow manages to pull out wins out of his butt. Even with Mac Jones at quarterback, Christian McCaffrey is somehow still in the game, but either way, it's like that is brilliant coaching to me. It's brilliant coaching with Dan Campbell, how he's able to, pull the Lions out of the muck and make them a real contender team in the NFC. Mike Tomlin somehow manages to limp into the playoffs even with a bad team. I think is this? I don't know if this is going to be the dagger, but I really hope it is. I don't think so. I want it to be. I hope it is. I'd be genuinely surprised if there is a change in the coaching staff at some point during this season, because we'll get to that later on in the video. So, but in a more highlights area here, offensive highlights. Zay Flowers had a really good game. DeAndre Hopkins had a good play. Keaton Mitchell came back and had some good plays. I think that, and I'm just being realistic here, I think that Mitchell will go back onto the bench and will be a health scratch inactive when more players come back from injury. I just think that's 100% going to be the case. But again, had a great game. Zay Flowers had that long 54-yard touchdown, pass. Pretty good. Something to look at in the highlight reel later on after the season's over, because there's some good here. Mind you, Cooper Rush, I didn't think he was horrible. I didn't think he looked bad. Mind you, he did have picked and took a few sacks that he should have just thrown the ball away. But again, I didn't think he looked too bad. He was still not good, but he wasn't he was the sole reason why the offense could not capitalize on anything. I'm not going to blame Cooper Rush on that. That has been a problem since the start of the season for the Ravens. So it's not Cooper Rush's fault. But Isaiah Likely had a good catch as well. So again, some movement by the Ravens that looked good. I'm not going to go into any defensive highlights because what is the point? What is the point of that? This defense, even with all the injuries? It's straight dog dookie. That's never seen. You make CJ Stroud look like a MVP quarterback. Mind you, nothing against CJ Stroud. Man of God, I respect the heck out of that. I think he's just on a team that doesn't know how to utilize him the best. And hopefully that can change for him. Nothing against him. But again, looked like his rookie year. 4 touchdown catches, 383 yards through the air, unacceptable. I mean, that's why I'm not doing any defensive highlights. But that's where we get into. I mentioned earlier with the coaching staff getting the dagger. Boos were raining down on Harbaugh during the game. Raining down. When Harbaugh left to go into the tunnel, people were just still screaming at him, booing him, and 100% and with the fans on this. Like, we're done. We are absolutely done with Harbaugh. We're done with Harbaugh. We're done with Orr. We're done with Monkey. We're done with the whole coaching staff, except Pagano. I could say that Chuck Pagano should be the only one that's staying and should be promoted to defensive coordinator. This fan base, like you call us spoiled. And how can we be spoiled when this team has no fire, no grit, there's no trying to climb the mountain type of mentality. It's just it's just unbelievable how this team just looks like it's just tossing in the towel, and we're still this early in the season. On the bright side, though, we would get a high draft pick. UC loves a draft pick, so there we go. We get this get a top 10 draft pick out of this season if at this rate, top 5 even. But I'm sick and tired of the coaching staff being defended. I think all media pundits agree it's time for Harbaugh to go. There's not a single. If someone in the comment section says it's not Harbaugh's fault, I would love to hear it. I would love to debate it. Because at this point, start from the top and go all the way down. That's how you fix this team. Because Boo's raining down on Harbs, 100% justified. He even said in the press conference that he doesn't think Zach Orr, he was asked, should Zach Orr be let go? And he said, no, that's not on the table. It's laughable at this point. And if it was Monken on the table, he would say, yes, I believe that's a conversation we're probably going to have. It's like, yeah, because Monken's not your guy. He's the guy that was brought in from the outside, not brought up from in the organization. But it's just laughable at this point. My final thoughts for the game. I mean, I pretty much said all I can say about this game. I think Harbaugh should be done. I think that Zach Orr should be done and Monken should be gone. I think it's just time to clean house and just try to save as much of this team and this season as we can, and that starts by getting rid of the problem. It's pretty obvious what the problem is. Mind you, by the way, we do not attack the GM's wife on X for anything. I was scrolling through it, and Lacey DeCosta deleted her X account because of all the people that were commenting and stuff like that. We don't do that. We as fans should not be going to someone who has pretty much, yes, is the GM's wife, but that's who she is. She's Eric DeCosta's wife. She's not in, she doesn't work in the Ravens organization. She's a wonderful human being. We don't do that as fans. We should not be going over there and doing that. But I'm just putting that out there. And also, it's just when media is catching on to the fact that it's if you can't at least let a spark under the ass of your team, even when it's just rookies, even when it's just when it's just backups, it's what is even the point in you coaching? You're being exposed here, John Harbaugh, that you are a terrible coach, and in my opinion, should not be a Hall of Fame coach at all. Should be considered one of the worst coaches in Ravens history, even though we've only had 2. Ravens, Brian Billick was a much better head coach than you because he knew how to get his team going, even though, fortunate number of seasons under Billick, but you don't know how to do that. It's just, it was apparent when Zay Flowers walked off the field. Everyone saw the video. Him taking his helmet, and he just gave Harbaugh this side eye that just said, "I'm done." You know, I agree. I agree with Zay. I think that the Ravens should have a mutiny, in my opinion, and I would totally be 100% with them, just being like, "No, we aren't going to play so long as this dumb butt is still on this team because he doesn't know how to coach. He doesn't know. He keeps defending the people that he personally brought up because that's his guy, and like we want to change. Like we want something to happen where we can be motivated to play the game of football again. Only way to save the season is to get rid of Harbaugh, get rid of Warwick, get rid of Lincoln. Comment if you agree. I'd love to just have a sit down and debate on the topic of why this is not John Harbaugh's fault, because it is. Thank you for tuning into Ravens today. I'm your host, Connor Gioffreda. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video. I will catch you all later.